Christian, when we hear the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, may we learn to hate sin, and here's the second point, flee the judgment. Not only do we trust God's wisdom, we are to flee the judgment. That's the second response. We ought to have a healthy fear of the Lord, that God will judge our sin. We ought to hate sin. You see, the story of Sodom and Gomorrah is used time and time again in the Bible. It's used both in Old and New Testament, because in many ways it's a microcosm of our world. The world will suffer the same fate as Sodom and Gomorrah did. When the Lord comes from heaven, He will rain down fire and judgment. And here's your question. Will you be offended when the Lord returns and says, "No one can judge me"? Will you laugh it off as a bunch of superstition from religious Bible folk who are just really ignorant simpletons? Will you think about fleeing but just delay one moment longer because you love your sin? Will you look back on the ways of the world with longing? Will you continue in the ways of the world even though God has promised judgment? Or will you flee, running to the hills, not looking back, running for your very soul? That is what the righteous are to do. Flee to Jesus and escape the coming wrath, because it's only in the cross of Christ that you find shelter from the storm.